Gesponsert von thecubicle.com. Benutzen Sie das Rabattcode TANISHD für eine 5% Rabatt auf Ihre Bestellung. Sponsored by thecubicle.com. Use the discount code TANISHD for 5% off your order. Hey guys, and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be comparing the RS3M 2020 as well as the Weilong WRM 2020. Before I get started, I just want to say that both of these cubes are the angstrom versions of the respective stock versions of the cube, but that is just the setup I have on them, which is just the normal angstrom setup from thecubicle.com. So the reason I'm making the comparison video of these two cubes is I've never really seen too many videos comparing these two cubes, and I think these two cubes are going to be a really nice pair of cubes to compare. So without any further ado, let's just get started. For starters, these two cubes look pretty similar, as you can probably tell. But when you notice a similarity in the look and go to pick them up, you will definitely notice one thing. Whoa. Yes, the weight. The RS3M 2020 is a lot heavier than the WRM 2020. Though in my opinion, it shouldn't really be too much of a problem. After solving on any cube, you really should just get used to it and it really shouldn't impact your times in a negative way. In my opinion, even if you for some reason go from the GAN 11M Pro as your main 3x3 to the RS3M 2020, after solving on this cube a lot, I think you will be able to get used to it pretty easily, even though this is like more than 20 grams lighter than this cube, which might not seem like a lot, but it really makes a difference. The only difference you might see if you're using a lighter or heavier cube is in your pickup time, though that is going to be pretty minuscule and I don't think it should be too much of a problem. Now let's talk about corner cutting, corner twisting, and pops. Okay, that's not relevant in 2021. Both of these cubes more than pass in that category for sure. Now onto the oh wait, I forgot a spec. The size of the cubes. Man, specs are so boring. Anyways, the size is basically the same. The only thing is that the pieces of the RS3M 2020 might feel a little bigger, though I don't really think that should be too big of a problem. Also, a similarity is that both of these cubes come as matte finished out of the box, but for both of these cubes, after solving on them a bunch, the matte finish that kind of disrupted my solving just went away, which is really good. Now, let's start off this comparison of these two mighty cubes for real. Let's start off with the turning and feeling of these two cubes. It's a new day. It's a new light. I'm outside. Did that rhyme? Not really. But I have this fresh new gear on, so looks pretty good, right? You can pick it up at thecubicle.com and use code TANISHD for 5% off your order. Alright, so the RS3M 2020 is crunchy. The Weilong WRM 2020, on the other hand, is a little crunchy, but not really. It's mainly just silky smooth, which is something I really enjoy about this cube. As for the RS3M 2020, it isn't really a smooth cube, so if you're a fan of smooth cubes, I would really stay away from this cube, just based off of this fact. The RS3M 2020 is definitely slower than the stock version of the WRM 2020. The WRM 2020 is like pretty fast, though my angstrom version is a little slower actually than the RS3M, though that is just because of the fact that the angstrom setup makes this cube really slow. If you saw, one of the main problems I had with the stock version of my Weilong WRM 2020 is the fact that it was way too uncontrollable, way too fast. So I set it up to be controllable. Anyways, the angstrom setup works pretty well on this cube because of the fact that it makes it more controllable, and that is something I really like about it, and I think you will too. Though if you have the stock version, it is very likely that this cube is faster than the RS3M 2020. Whatever the let's take these sunglasses off. Now let's keep them on. Anyways, whatever the case might be, you can easily speed up or slow down any cube depending on what setup you have on it. So you can easily lube a cube and make it slower or faster according to your needs. For example, you can use Mystic or Weight 5 on the Weilong WRM 2020 to make it more controllable. I would recommend Mystic because Weight 5 seems to control the cube at first, but then it really speeds up and it's kind of pointless. Obviously, Weight 5 is a very original, very classic lube, though I would recommend Mystic to make it controllable. And to make the RS3M more speedy, you can use DNM37, Lubical Speedy, Lubical Silk. There's a ton of options. All of these lubes can be bought at thecubicle.com. So overall, as for the turning and the feeling of these two cubes, the RS3M 2020 is crunchy, controllable, a little fast but not too fast, and the Weilong WRM 2020 is silky smooth, which is pretty good for me. I really enjoy those cubes. Likely to be fast, and can be controllable. You know what? It's getting cold, and it's cloudy, so I don't know why I'm wearing these. Anyways, let's go back inside now. Okay, I'm back. I keep changing outfits, what the heck? Anyways, now I want to talk about 2 points where one point is a high point for one and low for the other, and the second point is vice versa. You're probably thinking, what am I talking about? But don't worry, you'll get it. First, I want to say that the RS3M is a very consistent cube. Thinking about it, when I'm warmed up, I get pretty consistent times on it, and it never really lets me down. It never really gives me 3 to 4 like super fast solves that really hype me up and make me think,
dude, I just got world class out of nowhere.
And then it just ruins the hype like a few solves later when I get like 5 9s in a row. I'm done cubing. And that is something that I think the Worm 2020 to some extent does. Okay, let's cube on this Worm 2020. Okay. Whoa. Nice. Dang, this cube is insane. Oh my god, that's a subset of average. That was bad. That's probably just one solve. This cube is insane. Oh my god, another one. Oh, another 9. Oh my god, another 9. I hate this cube. It's so bad and inconsistent. Ugh. That was so cringy. It's kind of inconsistent. Sometimes it gives me like really good times and then just really bad ones, and that's just pretty bad for consistency and not very good for motivation during practice, or not the best practice to be doing, kind of. And if that's the case at home, just imagine how it'll be like in official, or in these circumstances, online competitions where I'm solving under pressure, and furthermore, I'm like really bad with nerves. Just think how it's going to perform under pressure is what I'm trying to say. Not to mention, during those under pressure circumstances, this cube might be uncontrollable. So like, yeah. Also, before I said that this cube is controllable, it's definitely more controllable than the stock one. Actually, after I used the cube, I threw in the trash a little more. This cube is the angstrom one is a little more uncontrollable than this one. So maybe I'll try to lube this cube again to slow it down or something. So it isn't too controllable, but it's not like as uncontrollable as the unlubed stock version of this cube would be like. The second point that is probably subjective, but I think it's kind of important to say, is that the Worm 2020 feels amazing. 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 Like, actually, I love turning this cube. Like, it's just so silky smooth while being fast, and it's just a pleasure to turn overall while doing untimed solves. While on the other hand, the RS3M 2020 feels like, like not really as satisfying to turn as the Worm 2020. It's just crunchy, a little rigid, somewhat rough. It just doesn't give the same satisfaction as the Worm 2020 does. So the high point of the RS3M 2020 is that it delivers in consistency, while the Worm 2020 delivers in feeling. Though I think it's fair to say that consistency and performance that the RS3M 2020 delivers is definitely more important than the feeling the Worm 2020 delivers. Because that's just common sense, right? The RS3M 2020 just gives you better times overall, and you shouldn't really be thinking too much about the feeling. And of course, it's subjective, so the feeling of the RS3M 2020 might be a good feeling for you. You might like the feeling. Or the points I said now might be vice versa for you. Maybe the Worm 2020 is more consistent. But I'm just sharing my opinion, and this opinion might be true for you. Because really, that's what a review is, right? Also, the feeling of the RS3M 2020 isn't that bad for me, but it just doesn't give the pleasure as the Worm 2020 does. I think you know what I mean. And this is a big demotivating factor. For example, while doing normal at-home solves, I tend to go for the Worm 2020 rather than the RS3M 2020, knowing that the RS3M 2020 is likely to give me more consistent and probably better times than the other cube, which is really bad. You're basically intentionally not getting good times, which I feel pretty weird about, to be honest. Obviously, you'll probably not do what I do, and probably just use the RS3M 2020 even though you don't really like the feeling of it, but that's just me, and I thought I would share it with you guys. Okay, it's another day again. So this video is getting really long, so I'm gonna try to do the next part, the last part of this video, in 3 sections. 1. Lockups and catches on these 2 cubes. 2. The mechanism and the adjustability features on these 2 cubes. And 3. Which cube is a better deal overall? Let's find out. Okay, so as far as lockups go, the RS3M 2020 definitely has its fair share of lockups, which definitely hinders the time in your solve sometimes. You might be doing a flawless solve, but then there's just this one lockup that ruins it, or you might be having minor catches and lockups throughout the solve. Though this really should not be a deal breaker in my opinion, though it is pretty relevant. As for the Worm 2020, it definitely has lockups and catches, though I think it's more minor than the other cube. They're pretty slight and small, though they're still kind of relevant and do hinder your times a bit. So both of these have lockups and catches, and that is a drawback, of course. Now onto the mechanism. Okay, so as you can see, the corner pieces of both of these cubes are pretty similar. The one of the Worm 2020 is wider than the one from the RS3M 2020. And the corner piece from the RS3M 2020 has a bigger second layer to the tip of the corner, while this is like not very big. As for the edge pieces, it's pretty similar. They look pretty identical. The tip of the edge piece on this cube is also longer than on this cube. The tip of the edge of the RS3M 2020 is also a little longer than the one from the Worm 2020. And this one's horizontal, while this one is vertical, the tip of the edge. So that's the main difference. I don't know too much about mechanism, but I thought I'd show you guys how it looks like. So which cube is a better deal overall? So the Worm 2020 costs $34.99 USD at thecubicle.com, which is normal nowadays. As for the RS3M 2020, it is $8.99 USD at thecubicle.com. That is insane. That is really cheap. The premium versions of the RS3M also don't cost very much, and that is amazing because they deliver a lot of performance. Also, considering the fact that the performance of the RS3M 2020 is equal to or even more or better than the Worm 2020 really shows why it is a better deal. It is an insane budget cube. It is amazing. And it literally competes with flagships from other companies that are way more expensive. Obviously, whatever cube you buy in the end, do buy it at thecubicle.com. And don't forget to use the discount code 10HD for not only a big discount of 5% off your order at checkout, but also for a free critique or shout out. Check this video out for information on that. And considering the RS3M 2020 has adjustability features, which this cube also has, I would also highly recommend that. Oh wait, I forgot the adjustability feature. I did it again. Guys, I'm literally 10 subscribers away from 400 subscribers, which I'm super thankful for. And we will, of course, have a giveaway sponsored by thecubicle.com at 400 subscribers. So do subscribe, not only if you like my content, but also if you want to enter a giveaway. Thank you guys so much. Also guys, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at tanishdemon_official to see insights in my Cuban life. Till next time, bye.